can be carried by a flex! I'm so excited about this!
We're back for another Pokemon adventure, and believe it or not, the final one on the 3DS. It seems like just yesterday my girlfriend took her first steps into 3D, but we're already at the end of an era.
You have a message from the Alola region's own Professor Kukui. So this is like Tropical Island.
Pokemon Sun and Moon released in 2016, and in a lot of ways broke from tradition in its approach to the Pokemon formula. The Alolan region of Gen 7 is based on the Hawaiian Islands, and geographically is meant to exist somewhere off the coast of the Kanto region.
So the day has finally come that you're moving to Alola. Is he not wearing a shirt?
They walk an interesting line of leaning into the aspects of the games that have proven to work, while also not being afraid to break with tradition.
Which photo should I use for your trainer passport? Yo! Is he asking for pics? I get to be blonde!
That being said, the Sun and Moon titles are a fun mix of old and new that deserve credit for committing to fresh ideas.
Tarny, come help me with these boxes! Wait a second. Oh my god, am I sitting at my computer? This is wild!
So without further ado, it's about time my girlfriend has earned herself a tropical vacation, and hopefully she can fit in a little bit of world saving between reapplying her sunscreen.
Pokemon Sun! Eee!
Like any Pokemon adventure, everything begins with picking a starter. But in this one, that's a little easier said than done. If there's one thing that Sun and Moon are infamous for, it's their super long cutscenes. And there's a ton of exposition dumped here at the beginning of the game to give her a taste of what to expect.
Oh my god, wait, it was waiting for me to get out of bed? Don't they know that that's like not gonna happen if it's up to me?
Thankfully, I'm here to trim the fat and get to the important stuff for y'all. Basically, my girlfriend and her mom just moved here from Kanto, and she doesn't have a Pokemon of her own yet.
I still remember seeing you battle the Indigo gym leaders back in Kanto all those years ago, you know? Oh my gosh, this is like a whole reunion. I'm like, I know the Indigo gym leaders. Hell, back in the day I fought them.
Professor Kukui stops by to say hello and tells her she can get a Pokemon from the island's kahuna. Kahunas are kind of the leaders of each of the 4 islands, and they've been chosen by the island's guardians to serve their role.
What is that thing? You're so cute. Oh my god, its jaw just dropped. Whoa, wait, Fearos are coming in. Oh, it's cowering in fear. No!
Speaking of the island guardian, my girlfriend gets rescued by one while protecting a Pokemon named Cosmog from a group of angry Spearos.
Bye, Pokemon! That was so cool! What the hell was that?
The Cosmog is called Nebby by the girl she belongs to, Lily, who just so happens to be Professor Kukui's assistant.
So this is Lily, and started with an M. Nuppy?
Everyone's super impressed that my girlfriend was acknowledged by the island deity, and believe it a sign that she should undertake the island challenge.
Although it is said to protect us, our Tapu Koko is a rather fickle creature. I feel like most guardians are.
I'll get into what all this means in a moment, but do you see what I mean about this being an elaborate start?
It seems I should entrust this brave and kind young girl with a Pokemon of her own. Yeah! I agree.
We still don't even have a starter yet. Thankfully, since she's met the kahuna, she can finally pick one.
They're so cute! How the hell am I gonna decide?
As usual, this is a hard choice, especially with how good the Alolan choices are. Rowlet almost won her over with his little spin move.
The first is the grass-type Pokemon Rowlet.
But I'm not surprised she ended up picking Poplio.
Oh my god, it just did a little steel clap.
Water starters have always had an unfair advantage by virtue of being blue.
Hello there, Poplio. You want to come on an adventure with me? And be my friend? Oh my goodness!
This was around the time when Taryn picked up on how slow the pacing was for herself. We were an hour and a half into the adventure, and only now we were naming the first Pokemon. I guess we're playing on island time.
I feel like this is like a name he can grow into.
Anyways, now that she has her starter and has finished chatting it up with folks on Melemele Island, it's time to get down to business.
So were they in on like her sneaking him out or wherever they were?
If you're new around here, let me give you the rundown. As with all her Pokemon adventures, she'll be Nuzlocking the game, which means she can only capture the first encounter in a new area. And if a Pokemon faints, it can no longer be used, and must go away to live on a farm. Encounters work a little funky here in Alola, and that can complicate the Nuzlocke.
I can catch Pokemon now!
As it's her first playthrough, to me it's important she gets a chance to encounter lots of Pokemon, so I'm invoking the Pinwheel Forest Claws from all the way back in Gen 5 to split Route 1 into separate encounters.
Oh, he's gonna be 10, okay.
Route 1 is quite large and can be broken into 3 separate parts with 3 separate encounter tables, so it seems to me it's fair.
Oh, my first Pokemon! Oh my god! I got a P-Pack!
This is the only route that's going to get this treatment, but it should diversify your team a bit at the start of the adventure.
I caught Picky-Pack! Picky.
In your typical Pokemon game, you're asked to travel around the region collecting 8 gym badges before taking on the league and becoming champion. Alola doesn't have its own league set up, and additionally, there are no gyms or badges.
You were rescued by Tapu Koko at the bridge. Isn't that what I heard, Tiny? Man, news sure travels fast.
So instead of a league, my girlfriend's embarking on the Island Challenge. Each island has a set of trials, and after completing them, she'll earn the right to take on the island's kahuna in a grand trial.
In other words, it's time for you to get out there and start your Island Challenge. What is this Island Challenge?
During the festivities, she meets Hao, the grandson of the kahuna, who's also embarking on the Island Challenge himself. He aspires to follow in his grandfather's footsteps someday, and plays the role more of a friend than a rival.
So this is Hala's grandson. Is this like my rival?
He also picks the starter that's weaker to my girlfriend's, which had her looking at him like, are you sure?
I appreciate that his Litten is fire. Yeah, that's new.
Everyone breaks to tackle the island trials, but they make the mistake of dropping her off right on the main strip of the shopping district.
Man, the Spindas are maybe a little strung out.
Alola brings back the character customization, and my girlfriend was sure to blow all her savings on new hair and clothing. She really embraced the tourist life, and in a way, girl played this whole game like she was on a big vacation.
Oh, I'm petting my Poplio.
On this first island, there's only one trial captain, and he specializes in normal typing. The trial begins inside this cave where she has to search Pokemon dens.
Defeat 3 of the Pokemon that lurk here in their dens. Oh, okay.
While inside, she has her first encounter with the evil team from this region.
Got a lame bunch of berries. Now Team Skull's your adversaries. Probably could have had more rhythm while I read that.
Unlike most of the evil teams from previous games, these guys just seem like thugs rather than an organized crime syndicate. They don't really seem to have a goal and are just a bunch of troublemakers.
You can't interrupt my trial. This is a formal event.
There'll be a thorn in her side on this adventure, but at least they aren't trying to end the universe for once.
Excuse me? Where are they even going?
The boss battle at the end of the island trial is always with a totem Pokemon. They're bigger versions of Pokemon that feel kind of like a precursor to the alphas we'll see in a few generations from now. But their main gimmick is that they start the battle with a stat boost and will call for help during the encounter.
Ally Pokemon? What? What?
My girlfriend is all too familiar with the dangers of a double battle in a Nuzlocke, but this is a full-on 2-on-1 fight. It's gonna be especially hard to keep all her Pokemon alive when the totem Pokemon and its teammate can double into her single Pokemon each turn.
Yeah, it's not gonna do much of anything. What the hell was that shit?
This first battle is just against a Gumshoos that isn't too big of a threat, but my girlfriend better learn to take these encounters seriously soon because they can be quite terrifying.
Nice! Good work, pal! Bye-bye, Gumshoe.
With the trial completed, there are some encounters available to her in the area. So a couple of times so far, she's dealt with a phenomena where she sees a Pokemon she recognizes, but there's something a little different about them.
What the hell is this? Wait, what? This is a Rattata? That's not a Rattata. This looks totally different.
These are Alolan variants. The idea is that they are Kanto Pokemon species, but with different typings based on them living on the Alola Islands.
This little Rattata is standing on like 2 legs. Sir, you're supposed to be purple and be on all 4s.
These are super fun and give some flavor to some old favorites.
So I don't think I realized that the lady Meowths were this color.
If she's lucky, she'll be fortunate enough to catch a few on this journey.
Ooh. Diglett! Aw, hi buddy, how are you doing?
With the sole trial of Melemele Island conquered, she's earned the right to her first grand trial and can battle the kahuna of the island. He specializes in fighting types, but fortunately, since every generation has their Pidgey clone, she's able to put her woodpecker to work and make quick work of him.
This little fairy bee can just get smacked so many times and it does nothing.
She also caught a cutie fly in the flower fields, which is part fairy typing. So this fight was over before it started.
Nice. I beat the big kahuna. Ah! My first kahuna, the grand trial.
After defeating the kahuna, she earns a special stamp on her passport, sort of like an Alolan gym badge. And once she's earned all 4, she'll have completed the island challenge. So with that, she's done everything she can on Melemele Island, and it's time to catch a boat to the second island in the next quarter of her challenge.
We're going sure. My hair looks awesome. So does Lily's. Whee! Oh my god, the Picos.
I didn't mention this earlier, but the reward for each of these trials is a Z Crystal. Z Crystals are the special gimmick introduced in the Alolan region. There's one for each type, and these crystals unlock Z moves for Pokemon that has them equipped.
Whoa, what is that? A Z-Ring?
When a Pokemon holds a Z Crystal, they can power up a move of the corresponding type once per battle. They're easiest to think of as ultimates, and while not as overpowered as Mega Evolution, they're quite the spectacle.
Ooh, cool.
We'll see the Z moves in action soon enough, but for now she's arrived on Akala Island. Akala has 3 trial captains on it, and now that the training wheels have come off, there's gonna be a step up in difficulty from here on out.
Shoots, I know where I'm going first, not straight to the Pokemon Center. I'm with you, How.
Back on Melemele, the Kahuna loaned my girlfriend access to his Tauros so that she could break rocks in the field.
How about I set you up so you can ride my Tauros whenever you like? Yeah.
Alola's completely done away with hidden machines, and this is their answer to clearing hazards in the overworld.
Out of my way.
There are a handful of ride Pokemon that she'll be able to unlock that function like HMs used to. Surf, Strength, or in Taurus's case, Rock Smash.
Oh, I did.
For a lot of folks, this was a big win because they didn't have to waste a move slot or team member on an HM slate. For my girlfriend, it was a big win because it meant she got to ride a Tauros. Shortly after arriving in town, she battles a moody character named Gladion, who seems to be affiliated with Team Skull.
Your angst is going to be your downfall.
He sends out a Pokemon called Type Null, which my girlfriend assumed meant he didn't have a type.
Excuse me? What is a null?
He's actually a normal type, but she managed to take him down, so whatever, not a big deal.
I guess it's no surprise a homeless kid would turn out spineless too. What?
She made her way to the Brooklet Hill to meet Lana, the water trial captain, and to hopefully earn her next Z Crystal.
Yo, my ride pager. I can climb on a Lapras!
What's funny about a lot of these trials is that they're not like your typical gym battles at all. They're all unique and quirky in their own way.
Oh, Totem's Den. Wait, am I in the middle of a challenge right now? I thought I was just helping this chick out.
My girlfriend just assumed she'd be finding Pokemon in caves like she did with Alima every trial. But little did she know she was in the middle of the water one without even realizing it.
Trials start? That's right. Didn't you notice? You passed through the captain's gate by my side, which means you will undergo my trial. You tricksy lady.
By the time the trials start text popped, she was already standing in front of the totem Pokemon about to battle it.
Damn. Lapras is trembling. Ah!
This was the first trial where she realized how dangerous these totems can be, though.
He's using Water Gun. Fuck, Coil. He's a little guy? Wait, so they were just a bunch of fish? Okay.
With Coil the Magnemite down, she got put in kind of an awkward spot against this totem Wishy-Washy. Thankfully, Coil's sacrifice made it so the Wishy-Washy broke into its smaller, weaker form, but the Alola it called for help could heal it back up if she didn't take it down quick.
It's not attacking me. Yeah. Nice! Okay. Woo!
The good news is she was able to knock it out and make sure Coil's death was meaningful. But his condemnation to the farm was a wake-up call that this game wasn't going to pull its punches.
Coil!
These totem Pokemon are no joke, and it was clear unless she went into them with a plan, she was going to end up losing more Pokemon like this.
So there were so many ways for him to still live, and it just didn't play out that way, unfortunately.
While she's making her way to the next trial location, we gotta discuss the Rotom Dex. So in this game, the idea is that Rotom, the Poltergeist Pokemon, is haunting her Pokedex. I thought she'd find this cute and funny, but I guess I don't know my girlfriend as well as you'd think, because Taryn was not a fan.
I'm a little spooked that my Pokedex thingy is blinking at me.
I guess her main gripe is that it's always blinking at her on the bottom screen. She felt like the Pokemon version of 1984.
Clever girl. Rotom just called me clever.
Apparently, every time she'd enter a new area, it would talk to her or have something witty to say, and when the Rotom Dex talks, it takes away the map briefly.
Okay. Just show me. Why do you have to do this whole talking? Just show me the goddamn map.
Honestly, I just thought it was funny because even she's getting a little impatient with Alola. But the good news is, it looks like we've made it to the next trial location.
The trial's starting! Ah!
At the top of the volcano, she could only assume she was headed for the fire trial, and this time she had a plan cooking.
You will find that it is a bit different than the trials you've faced to this point, but of course you will attempt it, right?
Kiawe's trial may well have been her favorite of the entire game. It's presented as a memory puzzle where you have to spot the difference in two pictures, which she audibly groaned about since she's usually terrible at those.
My trial will test your powers of observation. There will be a dance and then another. Your task will be to find the difference between the two. Oh gosh, okay, this is like a testing my memory.
The game pulls a fast one though, because the difference in the snapshots is so blatantly obvious it would be hard to miss.
There. Okay. Okay, so this part's all the same. Wait, there's a selfie? I mean, there just wasn't a hiker last time.
Pokemon and Alola are notoriously slow. The point I'm getting at here is that Alola and Dugtrio is an exception. Footprint is one of the fastest Pokemon in the region, and he was part of her plan to deal with these tough totems.
My hiker friend was so pleased by your right answer, he simply had to battle you.
Not only does he outspeed the totem and their allies, but he hits hard. Her fire trial pretty much speaks for itself.
Bye, Salazzle. Oh, hell yeah, I one-tapped it.
Holy shit.
With those two down, there's only one trial left on the island. But being grass, she needs to be careful since Dugtrio and her starter are both vulnerable.
I got the fire Z-Crystal. Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Thankfully, she's on a volcano and can nab an encounter here.
Whoa, what's a sandlet?
She was extremely lucky to have found a female Salandit because the males don't actually evolve. But being fire poison type, she just picked up a grass type's worst nightmare.
Ooh. That will be great against my grass. For the grass challenge.
So it's time to head to the forest and finish the last trial on Akala. Malo's trial has her collecting ingredients to cook a meal that will lure out the totem Pokemon.
Oh, I was doing it wrong. I'm supposed to hold down B. I just kept barking at the air. But he usually sniffs and like actually searches around. That makes way more sense.
The other trial captains come to help, which is nice so my girlfriend doesn't have to be the only one getting her hands dirty.
I'm just staring at her crotch. Yeah. I'm so confused as to what's happening. Can I actually look lower? No. Just looking at her overalls.
Once the totem Lurantis appears, she's ready to put her salamander to work.
Ah! It's coming for the booty.
Salandit Quad resists all of Lurantis' grass-type attacks, and when Cast Form set up the sunny day, it only made my girlfriend's fire-type attacks more powerful.
Bye, Lurantis! Whee!
Now that all three trials are done, she's ready to take on the grand trial and battle the island's Kahuna.
Hey there, Tarny. Guess I should congratulate you on clearing all three of Akala Island's trials. Congrats. Looks like it's time for you to take on Kahuna Olivia's grand trial.
Olivia's a bit busy at the moment, though, because Team Skull's acting up again, so she's got to deal with them first.
Whoa! Mega colorful hair. Plumeria? I help keep Team Skull together. I'm like a big sister. All these numbskulls.
Team Skull uses mostly poison types, which means that Dugtrio is their worst nightmare. He can hit them super effectively with ground type attacks, and his steel typing makes him immune to all of their poison. Girl sure loves her steel types.
With so much hair! Ah! Amazing.
With the thugs dealt with, she can finally challenge Olivia and wrap up Akala Island. Being the jewelry store owner, Olivia specializes in rock types, so once again, Dugtrio is her silver bullet.
Poppin'-a-tude. I love the hair on my Dinklet, it's so funny.
She's able to resist every single one of Olivia's attacks and can hit them all with magnitude to make quick work of the battle.
Bye, Kahuna. So I'm telling you, a good blowout, you can do anything.
With the grand trial complete, she can move on to Ula'ula Island.
I look so cool.
Before heading for Ula'ula, though, my girlfriend was invited by the Aether Foundation to visit their headquarters south of the Alolan archipelago.
Oh, we're going all the way over there. Yo.
The Aether Foundation is a conservationist group focused on protecting Pokemon. They extended the invitation as thanks for helping deal with the hooligans from Team Skull.
I'm 11. Okay, good to know.
While she and Hao are there, they meet the Foundation's president and also a strange creature that came out of an ultra wormhole.
It's a dimensional hole. What is going on? It's a jellyfish.
My girlfriend battles the jellyfish and starts scratching her head about what the deal is with all these wormholes interrupting her tropical vacation.
Whoa, nice, good works, Calypso. Rock poison type. That's a cool combo.
Lucamine ends up kind of creeping her out a bit.
I bet she's talking about Lil Nubby.
But at least she gets a psychic TM for her troubles.
Was that kind of an evil smile? I don't know if it's the angular brows, but I'm gonna keep you at arm's length, Miss Lucamine.
Setting foot on Ula'ula Island for the first time, you already know where she was headed. She went straight to the apparel shops and upgraded her outfit.
This works with the current purse. Okay, I won't even show the other purses.
After the fire trial, she picked up the ability to fly on a Charizard to get between islands, and she made use of it to fly back to Melemele to buy clothes she couldn't previously afford. When all the shopping was said and done, she met back up with the professor, and he pointed her in the direction of the next trial.
All right, your next trial's up on Mount Hokalani.
At the top of the mountain on Ula'ula is the observatory, and the electric trial captain is waiting for her inside.
Oh, wait, he's literally in Festival Plaza.
Knowing that she was going to be fighting an electric totem Pokemon, she led with her trusty Doug Trio, who in some ways has replaced her as the protagonist of this playthrough.
That was a crit! Ah!
In a twist of fate, though, the totem Vikavolt is a levitating bug electric type, which means that it's completely immune to ground type attacks.
Mega spooky.
So instead of magnituding her way to glory like initially planned, she went for a death by 1,000 cuts approach. She metal clawed him over and over again, dragged out by the ally Grubbin lowering her accuracy with Mudslap.
Nice! Good work, okay. So we're working on it,
Although it took forever, she did eventually get him down, and safely, which was a big win. As she'll tell you, not losing any Pokemon is worth the battle taking a few extra turns.
Woo! Good work! Footprint.
With that, there's still some time to explore the island a bit before the next trial, and that means there are more Pokemon to catch. She didn't encounter any real game changers to add to her team, with the one exception of an old favorite.
Geodude, and he has eyebrows! Ah! Alolan Jeep.
Jeep is a little underleveled for the time being, so for now he's getting benched. Somewhere along the way, she bumps back into the professor again, and apparently the leader of Team Skull.
I really thought Kukui was gonna like fight him, and then he's like, Tyne, you go fight him. And I'm like, excuse me, what would you have done if I wasn't here?
This guy's full of hot air and has a bone to pick with people on the island challenge, so she has to battle him. He uses bugs, which have a tremendous weakness to toucans, and my girlfriend takes him down without breaking a sweat.
Woo!
She'll continue on the road until she meets up with Acerola, who's the ghost trial captain. This trial has her exploring an old abandoned Mega Mart, tracking down rowdy ghost Pokemon.
I don't get it. Oh, I will see the Pokemon. Okay, it's not that complicated.
There's a Pikachu running about, and once she finally corners it, she learns that it wasn't actually what she thought it was.
Oh, that's why it's not actually a Pikachu running.
Right from the get-go, this totem battle seemed cursed beyond repair. She immediately opened with a Metal Claw with Footprint the Doug Trio, only for it to miss. On the next turn, it called a Haunter for help, and then this happened.
What? Doug Trio! What the hell?
Just like that, her favorite Pokemon was gone. The rest of the battle was a bit of a mess. She stalled out the Mimikyu using Primarina and then finished things with her Toucan since it was immune to all the ghost type attacks.
Oh, okay. Good lord.
Getting the Ghost Z Crystal was cool, but she wasn't over the devastating loss of her golden-haired champion.
I lost my freaking footprint. That's all I cared about.
So at this point, she was a bit of a loss. She lost a star member of her team and was licking her wounds, not sure who to turn to. Not only did she lose another coveted steel type, but the rock of her team. The rock. The rock. Oh my god, there's hope.
Oh, he still has eyebrows!
Down a ground type, she nabbed Mudbray from the box and got her trained up to match the rest of the crew. After that, she turned to Old Reliable to help her get the job done.
We're throwing rocks at the birds. Oh no! That just took that bird down.
Jeep was fortunate enough to be given an Alolan form, and he's back to lead her to victory once again. She got her beloved rock kitted out with an Eviolite since she couldn't do a trait evolution, and set her sights on Po Town.
The beach? Grimsley! Grimsley would find the beach depressing.
There aren't any more trials on Ula'ula, but Team Skull stole a little girl's young goose, and my girlfriend can't let that fly.
Here, take this. Just get my young goose back for me. Thank you, child.
She's contractually obligated to help children in need in Pokemon games, so she's laying siege on the city.
Man, so they just like took over this whole area.
Honestly, this next section goes pretty hard, and I kind of forgot about it. Team Skull has occupied a neighborhood, and even the local police chief doesn't want to go and deal with them.
Hi there. Who are you?
My girlfriend breaks into their compound and fights her way to their leader. She has another rematch with Guzma, but Jeep's Stealth Rocks makes Golisopod kind of a joke. Honestly, it's funny how close together the encounters with this guy are. She nabs a bug Z crystal from the makeshift throne room and dips.
Oh my god, he had a bug Z crystal? Damn.
The tragedy of all of this was that this was just a big distraction. Team Skull lured her away so they could kidnap Lily.
And Nebby was literally out of her bag again.
Gladion shows up and doesn't know how to use his words to express his emotions, so we have to battle him instead.
I'll show you how angry you make me. Okay, can we not use our words?
Claims that Team Skull probably brought her to the Aether Paradise, and the plot thickens.
Lily's definitely his sister.
She agrees to go with him to get Lily back, but before that, she's got a battle with Nanu, the police chief.
I'm an island kahuna, you know. What? Battle against me? Oh my god.
Surprisingly, this guy's a kahuna, and she needs to beat him to complete her grand trial.
Okay, damn. The police chief is a kahuna, and he's the uncle.
He specializes in dark types, and gives her the Dark Z Crystal after his defeat.
Yo, I got the Dark Z Crystal. Oh my god. So should I switch this out for Rattata's normal one?
Now on the Aether Paradise with Hungry Rival and Angry Rival, she's got to figure out what the heck is going on here.
Aether Paradise is hard, but we made it this far without running into trouble. But I don't like it quite as you two stay alert.
Shortly after arriving, she and her buds are attacked by the Aether employees, and her suspicions of Lucamine from earlier start to feel a little more justified. Add in the fact that Aether and Team Skull are working together, and the whole thing seems like bad news.
Yeah, she's real nice, as long as you mean nothing to her. Oh!
During her fights with the Aether, it became all too clear that her team has one major flaw. There's no specially defensive wall on the squad.
Yeah, Slowbro's water psychic.
She had two physically defensive options, but when a special attacker came out, her only switch-in was her starter.
Mudsdale is a tank. I love Roach. And I like that I get to ride Roach.
By some coincidence, though, there's a PC at one of the counters on Aether Paradise, and after looking through her boxes, she found exactly what she needed.
Yo! Okay. This is so good.
Commander Slurp, a favorite from our Twitch Soul Link, had been chilling out waiting for his big break. Muck got an Alolan form and picked up a dark typing, giving him an immunity to Psychic. Not just that, but his big special defense and his poison typing made him an absolute fairy killer.
Oh, he looks awesome.
Speaking of our Twitch streams, go and give us a follow over there. We stream 3 times a week and are hoping to do another Soul Link live sometime this year, so don't miss out.
Woo! What's up with you? How come I can't smash you? I'm a child?
Anyways, with Commander Slurp at the ready, it was time to head to Lucamine's office and finally free Lily.
Lily! Yeah, that's definitely her mom.
Things get kind of dark here. This woman literally has Pokemon on ice.
Wait, what the fuck? That's a Yarny!
I thought the frozen Pikachu would be the biggest shock, but Slowpoke is one of my girlfriend's favorites, and seeing one frozen was almost too much.
Yarny, no!
So the reason they kidnapped Lily was because of Nebby. Nebby can open ultra wormholes, but apparently it's very dangerous for the little nebulous cloud.
Fuck, I knew that smile was evil. Yeah, where the hell is little Nubby?
Coincidentally, a wormhole opens up and Ultra Beast starts raining down all over Alola.
He sends a disturbance! Whoa! It's the Ant Arc! This one's a rare visitor. You've come before to the island of Kahuna. Oh my god, Tapu Koko! It is like Shishu Island. Did you come here as a guardian or just to battle? The Kahuna's not. Whoa! Oh my god, look at all the, the guardians! As Kahuna this island, I, Hala, will support you! Yo, he's taking his duties as a Kahuna so seriously.
Chaos ensues, and in an instant, my girlfriend finds herself battling the Aether president herself.
It's on, Madam President. I'm gonna kick your butt for being mean to your kids. We have to save Alola and Nebby. There's so much to save. Clefable. Yeah.
Let's go, Slurp!
Come on, Slurp!
Commander Slurp! Lusamine has a pretty well-rounded team made of mostly special attackers, so this was Commander Slurp's prime opportunity to show his worth.
Nice! Good work, Slurp! Commander Slurp!
With Lusamine beaten, she and Guzma disappear into the wormhole as it closes. They rescue Lily, who turned out to be Lusamine's daughter, by the way. Nebby has entered a sort of hibernation state after being forced to open all those wormholes, and we need to figure out what to do next.
Wait, did Nebby evolve? Or is this just like a sleeping form?
My girlfriend crashes on Lily's couch for the night, and the next morning she finds her transformed into a stronger character, complete with a new outfit change.
Yo! Lily's changing up her style! You look so cute, girl!
Lily wants my girlfriend's help to go and rescue her mother from Ultraspace and wake up Nebby. My girlfriend's like, sure, my next trial's on the way anyways.
Pony Island. Pony Island? I'll wait for you at the docks. Are there ponies there?
The duo makes way for Pony Island because at the top of Vast Pony Valley, they may be able to get help from Alola's legendary box art Pokemon.
Go, find the kahuna. The kahuna of Pony Island also protects the shrine where Alola's people worship the legendary Pokemon. So legendary Pokemon is here? Ah.
This is also the last location for my girlfriend's island challenge, which was nice and convenient.
The kahuna, Maybe you should go to little Hapu's place. Oh!
After arriving, they learn that Pony Island has been without a kahuna for quite some time. But Hapu, fellow horse girl that my girlfriend's befriended, takes up the mantle so that she can complete her challenge.
As kahuna, I will do my best for the people? So she just became the kahuna.
Before that, my girlfriend has to go to Executor Island to get a special flute. And lo and behold, she catches her 6th and final team member for this playthrough.
Actually an executor. Yo! Whoa, he's so tall! I love that. Okay, let's catch him.
Arnold picked up a dragon typing in place of his psychic type, and finally, my girlfriend has found herself a grass type for the team.
Arnold! He's a coconut Pokemon. Grass dragon. This is amazing. He is 35 feet tall.
Vast Pony Canyon in many ways feels like the victory road of this game. There's plenty of tough trainers and strong wild Pokemon, so it lives up to the name.
Damn. That little dog was so majestic.
At the end of the canyon is a captainless trial, where she can earn her Dragon Z Crystal.
Whoa, this thing looks so cool!
I don't even know what to say about this, because the Totem Komoa went down in one shot to a Moonblast from my girlfriend's starter, and was rather anticlimactic for the final totem battle of the game.
Bye, Komoa!
At the top of Vast Pony Canyon, the two girls blow the flutes to see what'll happen.
We're so good at playing the flutes! Have we practiced? How did we know what the song was gonna be? Oh my god, it's magic! Something's happening! Is Nebby singing? Whoa! Wait, Nebby turned into the legendary Pokemon? Oh my gosh!
Lo and behold, Nebby has been Solgaleo this entire time. Good luck fitting that thing in a duffel bag.
That's why we couldn't confine little Nebby to the bag.
They hop on its back and ride it to the dimension where Lusamine's trapped.
Please tell me we're riding this thing. We're riding on the back of Nebby! Ah! This is so fun. Whoa. We just went to the wormhole. Oh my god, oh my god.
After finding her, it's revealed that she's actually managed to catch one of the Ultra Beasts in a special kind of Pokeball. But rather than use it in battle, she wears it on her head.
Oh! So she has one of those. Oh. Did she just put on the Pokemon? What the fuck? Oh my god.
My girlfriend has a rematch with Lusamine's team, but this time they all get a stat boost like a totem Pokemon would.
Aether President Lusamine? Clefables? Wait, so she's just... I am so confused. Go, Slurp, go!
Once defeated, the girls are able to bring her and Guzma back on Solgaleo.
Yo, Solgaleo's showing up! This is so cool! Nice. Good work, Solgaleo.
My girlfriend then gets the opportunity to capture Nebby and put that Master Ball she found earlier to good use.
Solgaleo appeared. So the real question is, do I name it Nebby or Nubby? Or Nubbie? Tarny used the Master Ball. Come home with us, Nebby.
So this entire playthrough, my girlfriend kept confusing the name Nebby with Nuppy, Nubby, Nippy, and so on. So fittingly, Solgaleo was named accordingly. With the world saved and the island challenge complete, there's only one thing left on our list to do. Traditionally, island challengers battle all 4 kahunas in a row at the end of their trial. Sort of like an Elite Four. Kui has been building a league though, and so my girlfriend has been invited to be the first one to give it a test drive.
Basically, it's a ceremony, you see. You beat all 4 kahunas in a row. Oh, that's like Final Four.
She has one more battle with Angry Rival and Hungry Rival on her way to the top, but after that, it's kahuna time.
Yo, 3 max revives. I mean, again, I can't really put them to good use, but I appreciate the sentiment.
She's got to face 4 battles in a row, and by this point, she knows how this goes.
Then that last guy, that dragon user in the cape, lands! He made it to lands. Oh! The song is epic. Whew.
I wasn't sure where to bring this up, but somehow the Elite Four seemed the most appropriate. Throughout her journey, she hasn't been the only one using Z moves. It's all fun and games when you're the one throwing out the OP attacks, but it's a completely different story when you're on the receiving end of them. My girlfriend had a very simple strategy when it came to enemy Z moves. Jeep.
Whoa, this is mega spooky.
Jeep was the linchpin of neutering Z moves thanks to having the ability Sturdy, and he did plenty of eating during the Elite Four.
Nice.
There were several clutch moments during these 4 encounters, but Jeep eating Z moves had to be the highlight.
Oh man, I haven't actually seen this one yet. Jeep! My rock got smushed with the bigger rock.
With the 4 toppled, she can make her way to the center of the room and claim her spot on the throne. As this Elite Four is only just built, there's no champion to battle for the title. She is the champion.
The champion seat. Hey, look at me! I'm sitting in the champion seat. Kukui, hi!
Of course, it can't be that easy. Kukui says so himself. She's got one more battle before things are official.
Oh, I love this. This song is so good. Dee-dee. Go, Professor Kukui. He is married. Oh, is that like that pup that was always following around? Rock Ruff. Let's go, Jeep. Ah! Okay. This is very reminiscent of the OG song. I like that Kukui's like, I want to have my own league. I like and rock. Ninetales. It looks very cool. Yay! Magnezone Coil! I gotta get out of here. Oh, he got chipped by the stones! Jeep! Decidueye. Oh my god, wait, this is the grass starter, right? Wow. So he was left.
That's why,
Come on, slurp. 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 Slurp.
Slurp!
Slurp! And it really hurts! Slurp!
Commander Slurp! Slurp!
Come on, slurp!
Do it, Slurp!
Come on, slurp! Yeah! Good work, slurp!
Slurp!
Snorlax? Come on, Roach. Come on. Come on, Roach. Yeah! Good work! We got out the tank. Braviary. Okay. Yeah. Come on. Come on. Jeep, 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 Jeep. Nice!
Let's go! Okay. Thunder.
I'm thunder punching.
Stonehenge is bigger damage, but...
It has a chance to miss.
No, but it's so stylish.
Oh my god, fine. But I don't know that we're gonna get this rotation in if he whirlwinds and I miss.
I have faith in you.
Okay, come on, Jeep.
Let's
Jeep!
go!
Yeah! I beat the champion Kakumi. I'm the new champion. Oh my god, my team!
Gets whirlwinded in at the very end of the fight and just cleans up with a stone edge.
With a stone edge.
With that decisive victory, Alola has its first champion. My girlfriend keeps her title as a Pokemon Master, and everyone celebrates the success of the new league.
Look at my crew! Commander Slurp's like, hey!
A lot of love and care went into constructing this entry in the series, and watching her playthrough only made it easier to see. Yeah, it has its slow moments, but there's a lot of heart and soul baked in.
It's all my friends! Oh my god, all the captains!
My girlfriend had a real good time in Alola, and it was a nice way to say goodbye to the 3DS. For now, she can sit comfortably on her champion throne, but next time, she'll be tackling the modern era of Pokemon. I think she's ready for the Switch. I'd like to extend a massive thank you to our channel supporters and patrons who make videos like this possible. If you're interested in joining, we have fun things like supporter events, voting power, and an exclusive place to hang out on our Discord server. Your support makes a world of difference to Taryn and I, and we appreciate you for it. An extra special thank you goes out to our sixth wheelers: Daniel Rogers, Gizmo, Isaac Vogan, David Webb, Mace, Gray Sleepy, Taco Supreme, Parav Skittles, Envy, Cry, Shane Boy, and Cerberus. That's all I got for now. Alola!
Look at him hanging there! Me too. Remember when I thought the Alolan meows were just the lady meows? Yeah.